Okay, so we are going to make our clay dragon eye. We are using air dry clay. Everybody got plain white air dry clay so that you can paint it whatever color you would like. You also got paints. And you got your dragon eye. Everyone got different eyes. They're all different. And so what you need is you also got you got two of these sticks to help you shape. You can also use things such as plastic knives, toothpicks. If you have clay tools, which you can get online or at craft stores, they're very inexpensive. And you can use all of that to help you shape your dragon's eye. You're also going to need a little bit of water to help you smooth out any cracks. Protect your surface with silicone, plastic, placemat, anything like that. I always use this placemat so it's easier to clean up. Some paper towels if you need them to wipe off your hands. So you're going to start with some clay, and I just made sort of an oval shape. It's like 1/4 of an inch thick. Just so that it's easier to lift off. There you can see I'm not going to lift it off all the way. Make sure it's not too wet on the back side if you were trying to smooth it out at any point. Let's see if I can peel it up. Yeah, it's a little easier to peel up when it's thicker like this. And then if you have any cracks along the edge, this is where you can use your water to help smooth it out. You don't want it to be too soaking wet because what happens then is as it dries, it will crack again, but you can use it to help you smooth anything out. Most of this will be covered, so that's okay. First of all, you can also shape this underneath, so you can use your popsicle stick, your plastic knife, toothpick, whatever it is, and you can make shapes. So if you want to make the shape of your eye, or you can wait until we add on the next layer and make the shape of your eye. So you can make some spikes already, or you can just wait and do it all together. I'll show you how I want to do it, but you can start doing it. So I'm going to make a similar shape and size, so just like this little disc here. And again, just use a little bit of water to smooth it out, get rid of some of these cracks. So I'm going to make another disc. And this will be our eyelid. So that's what we have to do first, is we have to get, well, second, we have to get our base, and then we're going to have our eyelids. So make this a little bit thinner, actually. And then we can put our eye where we want it to be. I'm making it kind of a little off center. Right, so something that's kind of vaguely the same shape and size, and we can continue to smooth it out later. But now what we're going to do is just cut that right down the middle, because these are going to be our eyelids. And part of sculpting with clay is that, I'm not going to take this and try to put the clay over the eye. I'm adding layers. So when I put this right over here, that is part of the eyelid. See, this is actually like a little bit too thick. I might redo that. A little too thick. All right, that's good. So I'm going to do the same thing. Just cut it in half. And just go ahead and give your eye an eyelid. That's better. It's not as thick. All right. There we go. And then again, you can use the water to help smooth it out so there are no cracks. Smooth out your surface. And then you can kind of shape. You can kind of grab it and shape it, right? So like if you want it to be kind of like cat eye shaped, you can kind of make like a point here. And again, can use some water to help you shape. Again, not too much because you don't want it to be cracking when it dries. If it's too wet, it's going to be harder for it to dry and it will crack. So smooth out your edges. And then you can use any of your little tools to also help smooth. And then after you use one of your tools, you can then again go in and smooth out any rough spots. Okay, so that's the basic, but now the fun part is that you can just kind of like go in and do whatever. I'm going to smooth this out over here. And use your leftover clay and your tools to create shapes. So you can do some spikes, you can create little clay snakes like this, and you can create some shapes. You can do like little beads. You can get smaller as you go, different size, whatever. This part is for you to experiment. You can do a lot with these little clay snakes. Alright, so if you want to make some spikes, just grab some pieces of clay and you're just going to roll them right into cones. And then you can put them on your dragon eye wherever you would like. So one of the ways to get them to attach best is to use a little bit of water and you make sort of like a clay slurry. Another thing that you can do is if you have a toothpick, something really small, you can score. I don't have a small toothpick here. If you score your clay, it sort of creates a rough surface for them to stick to each other. And then you can put them and then you can use the water and your hands to help smooth away the edges and make it look a little more seamless. And you can use your tools also to help blend your edges. Look at that. Right, so for the spikes, I'm just pushing to make a flat base and then squeezing up and then rolling a little bit. Also, if your hands are too wet, it's really too hard to do some of the smaller things like the little balls, right? So don't use too much water. It's really, really helpful, but it's also, you gotta know when to use it. I also always like a good rope twisty, so we did these little ropes on that part of the eye, but you can make a little rope snake again. Pull that out. And you can twist them together. A little twisty. And then add that as well. Again, add a little bit of water to smooth out any cracks or any things that you don't like. Help blend it down, right? Like this edge, I'm gonna blend it down. Use both my tool and the water to help blend it down. Nice. Same thing over here. Use my tool to help me create a shape that I like. And then use my fingers in the water to smooth it down. Cool. All right. You can then also, using like a toothpick or maybe like, you know, this really, really fine tip of a pencil, something thin and sharp, you can draw scales into your clay to create texture. I'm just doing sort of like a regular little scale shapes. Right, you can do that. Make sure you wipe off your pencil frequently because it gets all gunked up. You can also create scales by doing, so I use these little clay balls for embellishment, but if you do a lot of these, if you like rolling the little balls, you can do a lot of them. Maybe I'll do it up here by the scales and have it fade out. It also kind of looks like scales. And then, so you can either leave it 3D like that, which actually looks really cool, or you can press it down so it feels like it's a little bit more in the skin. And then if you want, you can use some water or your tool to blend some of the edges. It looks really cool. I like that. And then what happens is you let it dry. So you let it dry at least 24 hours. You want it to be hard enough so that when you peel this away, it's not going to crack or break. And also it needs to be dry enough so that when we go in to paint it, you will be able to paint it without turning it back into mud. I also left, you can probably see the shadow, I left a lot of space underneath my spikes because again, when I'm peeling this away or lifting up the dried piece, I just want to make sure that I'm not tugging on that. So when we peel it, we'll go from this end. Okay, so I'm going to finish my dragon eye, let it sit, and then I will come back and show you tomorrow what it looks like all dry, and then we paint it, and that's it. It's really, really simple and really fun, and everyone's dragon eye is going to look so different. I hope that everyone will send me pictures. I'll remind you when I do kit pickups, but I think it's going to be so awesome to see how different everyone's dragon eyes will be. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so this is about 20 hours later. This could really stand to dry a little bit longer, but I don't know if you can see, it is starting to pull away from my surface itself, so I can lift it up pretty easily. I did say I would show you that sometimes you have to peel the backing away, not the clay, so what you would do is you would just lift this all up and just work your backing down rather than grabbing this and pulling, because if it's still too wet, then you would just absolutely destroy your whole piece. But this is what I ended up going with. So now you just paint it. If yours is not completely dry, like mine is not completely dry, it's still fairly soft. So, but I just want to show you some painting. So I would wait for it to dry. You may need to wait a day and a half, 2 days, and then you can just go in with whatever colors and motifs you would like to do, and just go for it. So I'm gonna do, I don't know, this purple, but I kind of want it to be a little darker. And then just start painting. You can do a base coat in one entire thing and then add embellishments when that dries. It's totally up to you. You should have a thinner brush too, so you can go in and get any little nooks, crannies, and details that you would like to do as well. You can see as it dries where you may want to go over with another coat, and that's totally fine. Like I said, you're just kind of waiting for things to dry. And also especially be careful when you pick it up in the places where the paint is wet, because you will pull paint away on your fingertips. So you can see I've really barely been touching it this whole time because I am trying to prevent the paint from peeling right off. You can decide also if you want some of your embellishments to be contrasting colors or complementary colors. I did pull a yellow out here for myself to see if I think I would like that, because it is the opposite of purple, but I'm still not sure, and I can paint over it if I don't like it. Okay, so this is just my basic dragon eye, just to show you all the different things that you can do, and that as it dries, you can certainly continue to work over it and with it to create some cool textures and colors and layers. See, I'm kind of going over, the whole thing had a really dark base, then I went and I did the black inside some of the texture, and then I'm going now with a really light purple that I'm mixing with the white and creating some highlights. Don't be afraid to use your fingers in addition to the brushes, right? You use your fingers to help kind of get some texture in some places and help blend a little bit and just have a good time. Yep, but definitely just take your time. Don't let it get too wet with the paint. Work in layers and have fun. And then you have your own custom dragon eye, and now you know exactly how to do it. And it was pretty easy. This was really cool and really creative, so I hope you have fun with it and, come up with your own fantasy creature. Maybe you have a story behind your fantasy creature too. Anyway, I would love to see pictures of your dragon eyes. So if you created a dragon eye, you can totally take a picture and tag us on Instagram or Facebook, or send me a message or an email. I love to see it. So get creative and have fun. All right, everyone, I'll see you next time.